Hello everybody. Today on the forum of Symposium IAS, let's discuss a very significant topic, a very important topic, and that's called as carbon farming. Now carbon farming pertains to environment, and this topic can be asked in your mains and preliminary examination as well. Now let's understand what is carbon farming. Now this is a term which is called as carbon sequestration. Now carbon sequestration not necessarily means only carbon sink. It's a broad term, it's a comprehensive term. It includes not only carbon sinks, which can be both natural and artificial, but it also includes the methods through which the adverse impact of global warming can be reduced. It also includes carbon farming. The natural carbon sinks can be many. Oceans act as natural carbon sink and is responsible for absorbing 1/3 of CO2 which is present in atmosphere due to fossil fuel combustion. Then forests act as natural carbon sink. It also absorbs 1/3 of CO2 which is present in atmosphere due to fossil fuel combustion. Wetlands can act as carbon sink. And the artificial carbon sink can be established by revegetation of abandoned mines. Methods through which the adverse impact of global warming can be reduced include many. It includes pumping nutrients inside the ocean so that the concentration of phytoplanktons and algae can be enhanced because they absorb CO2 for photosynthesis from the atmosphere. It also includes the carbon capture mechanism, for example, the amine scrubbing process. It includes it also, but carbon sequestration would be also including carbon farming. And what is exactly carbon farming? Carbon farming is defined as a whole farm approach, and the purpose is to optimize the absorption of CO2 from atmosphere, and it can be stored in plant material and soil. It is also referred to as what's also referred to as regenerative agriculture. So call it carbon farming or call it regenerative agriculture. It's the same. And carbon farming has many benefits. Let's see the benefits of carbon farming. The benefits of carbon farming include that it's responsible for maintaining the health of the ecosystem health. It's responsible for maintaining the health of the soil. It enhances ecological productivity. Ecological productivity means the rate at which the natural organic matter would be generated per unit area, per unit time, depends upon photosynthesis, largely, slightly depends upon chemosynthesis also. And it is also responsible for mitigating the adverse impact of climate change. So all these are the benefits of carbon farming as such. When we talk about soil fertility, Aldo Leopold defined soil fertility as the capability of soil, as the ability of the soil to receive energy, to store energy, and also to emit energy. And when we talk about such energy, remember that carbon is considered to be nothing but the driving force of such energy, because the solar energy is responsible for photosynthesis and absorption of CO2 is conducted in photosynthesis, and this is translated into organic matter. So we can say that carbon is the carrier of such energy as such. Now, as far as the methods through which that how carbon farming can be implemented, let's see how carbon farming can be implemented and what can be done for this purpose. Now, implementation of carbon farming can take place through many methods. One is rotational grazing. Rotational grazing means containing or moving out the ruminants or the animals from the pasture land so that the health of the soil can be restored. Because if you talk about ruminants, these animals contribute a lot in global warming, and a study suggests that 14.5% of greenhouse gas emission is contributed by ruminants. It's slightly higher than transportation, because transportation contributes 14%, ruminants contribute 14.5%. And as far as ruminants are concerned, ruminants are responsible for largely emitting methane. Nitrous oxide is also emitted, then carbon dioxide. So three main gases emitted from ruminants in abundance includes what? Methane, nitrous oxide, CO2. So rotational grazing can be conducted. And now agroforestry Agroforestry includes silvopastoralism and alley cropping. Silvopastoralism means what? Planting trees in the pasture land on a larger scale so that the greenhouse gases emitted from the ruminants can be neutralized because the ruminants roam in the pasture land. So the greenhouse gases emitted by the ruminants can be neutralized, and also the soil degradation can be checked. Environmental degradation in this area can be checked. The additional benefits would be obviously fruits, timber, because of the planting of trees. So this method has been practiced in Latin American nations. Then also another is alley cropping. Alley cropping means that trees would be planted in rows, shrubs would be planted in rows, and in between these rows, the cultivation would be done or horticulture can be conducted. Now, conservation agriculture includes zero tillage. Zero tillage means the sowing of seeds would be done without plugging the field. So no harm, no disturbance to the soil would be made. So that's called as zero tillage agriculture. Crop rotation, everybody understands. Cover cropping also. Crop residue management means what? That the stubble would be retained in the soil. Compositing would be done, because stubble burning is responsible for enhancing air pollution on a large scale. Then integrated nutrient management can be conducted. Livestock contributes a lot in greenhouse gases, just now we have discussed. So grazing would be curtailed. Won't be conducted, but it would be curtailed as such. Feed management of the ruminants would be managed. For example, the National Dairy Development Board of India has developed probiotic feed of these animals so that they emit less of gas and they are responsible for yielding more and more of milk. Then waste management also would be conducted. Then land restoration should be done by planting trees on a large scale. So all these methods would be implemented in carbon farming. So the idea of carbon farming is based on this. But then when we talk about carbon farming, remember that carbon farming would be conducted in those areas suitably where the water availability is sufficient. It would be conducted in those areas where land can be used for extensive agriculture. So for example, in India, it can be conducted on a large scale in the Indo-Gangetic plain, in the Deccan Plateau. It cannot be conducted in those areas where water scarcity is there. It depends upon also not only water availability, it also depends upon the nature of plants, the nature of crops, because different crops would be having different ability to absorb carbon from atmosphere. So they differ in their ability of storing and absorbing CO2 from atmosphere. So all this. So those areas where water availability is less, carbon farming would be certainly less. Now some initiative have been launched in this direction. For example, an initiative of carbon farming has taken place, has been started in Australia. Then initiative has taken place also in Kenya. Now, when COP21 was signed, the Paris Agreement was signed in 2015, there was an initiative that was called as 4 per 1000. And 4 per 1000 was to mitigate climate change, how soil can be utilized, how agriculture can be utilized. Because when we talk about the agricultural soil, the studies suggest that agricultural soil have the capacity, have the ability to absorb 3.8 billion tons of CO2 equivalent per year for 20 to 30 years. And this is what is carbon farming all about. Thank you so much.